Endless hours in the car. My legs are aching to move. My mother's crappy music stretches the minutes into days. Voulez-vous? Aha! 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 Ah! The car pulls off the small two-lane highway, and within moments, it's in the parking lot. I can see the sand and the grass, and then I see the ocean and surf. It blinds me with its beauty. I wish for a moment that I was not in the car. I would die for anything like that surf out there that I can see. And it's before the car even stops. I open the door. I run out the door, pulling off my shoes.
Oh, yeah.
The ocean is pounding. It looks so exciting. The sand burns the sole of my feet. I am propelled forward into the surf, and the smell of the ocean, and the sound of infinity. My mother yells, "Be careful! Remember what I told you about the undertow!" My bounding feet splashed into the ocean, and without fear of anything, the freezing waves slapped up against me. And I went under, pushing and pulling and pushing and pulling, under the rough spots and up again and out into the ocean where I belong. Out here, I am a singularity. The laughing children playing on the beach could be heard through the surf and the wind. The wind carries her laughter over the stark landscapes of mountainsides and calm, cold waters of the fjord, swinging out, in, out, in. The rope swing that went precariously close to the edge of the cliff and straight down into the water as the night settles in. Her eyes radiate the freedom that I have yet to find. The beauty of the vast empty spaces where she grew up were in there. I'm gonna miss you, baby. I'm gonna miss you. Her face continued to laugh down the mountain. I'll miss you too, Kevin. We must all leave so that we can come back again. And we rolled and we let go and we rolled down the mountain. She fell into the water. There was nothing there to be seen, just null, void, be an unnerving and mysterious thing. A voice in the darkness called through the room. All hands on deck! All hands on deck! A signal, it must be important. I swung my feet over the edge of my bunk, feeling the roll of the ship as we turned to port. Yo, that's man overboard, I heard underneath the door with the scuffling of feet. Every inch of my skin tingled. This had better be a fucking drill. I already knew that it wasn't. The ship was turning harder than I'd ever felt it. The force helped me jump up into my rain gear boots. I opened the door into the flickering fluorescent light. Emptied out into the hall jammed with aching drones, mustering all they have left for energy. The river of men thickens as it gets more anxious as we don our coats. As the motion of the boat pitches to and fro, we speed up and slow down, speed up and slow down, all racing towards the open portal. The Arctic air blasts my face. We don our coats. All men to the bow! All men to the bow! We hold the rail and move towards the bow. The ship moving. We are careful but certain. Who could it be? Oh, could it be? 70 men hold on and point outwards into a sea so devoid of humanity, but so full of life. But they weren't pointing at that life. They were pointing at the man. I couldn't see him. I looked at the other outstretched arms. I couldn't see him. I focused myself onto their points, and I found him. And I held fast, and I pointed at him. Never before that moment had I felt such a true and palpable oneness with everyone around me. All of our collective desires and energy should have been able to lift this soul from the water, but it couldn't, or it wouldn't. He doesn't have a survival suit on! I can't tell. Fuck, he's far off. The wave crests, and the struggling hands of a man disappear behind it. Heavy! You're too far out! Come back closer to the beach! I pretend to hear her. I pretend not to hear her, and I swim further out. The sun is laughing with the water and I. She calls to me again. And even though I know she'll never come out here, I go back towards the beach just to make her happy. And as I get closer, and I can feel the rougher surf pounding, I can feel the wave behind me cresting, and I lie flat right in there. And the split second of being under, with no up, no down, orientation all mixed up, rocks, the ocean pulling me along, to the herd beat of true blood, true life. I choke on the billions of life forms trying to get into my lungs. And I stood with the rocks and shells cutting my feet. And for a second, I was slipped back under and dragged back out. The deckhand swam without being able to feel any of himself. He shuddered and trembled, and he couldn't stay up. His body was no longer obeying. He could see the bow of the ship, but for only a second, with all of its outstretched arms. But he couldn't think of them. He could only think of his son for that last moment before he slipped under and the daylight slipped away and faded, and the entirety of being became a black shroud of warmth. I climbed from the water. The sun dried my skin. Life on the beach. Life in the ocean. I point out at a ship on the horizon. How far away is that? My mother answers. I'll bet it's not as far off as it seems, Caddy. Thank you.